Hey guys, today I want to take a minute to just give you some experiences that I had in moving off-grid to here in Brazil. Those two things are extreme in their own way for me. I just happened to do them both together, so there's a little bit of overlap in these things. It could be anywhere, it could be just here. First thing would be coming to a place where English, my native language, is not the native language spoken here. There are some people that speak English, mainly in the cities. Even out in the interior, there are some that know, how to enough to be able to understand me and communicate with me in English, but not many. Fortunately, Maristela, my wife, is a native from here in Brazil, so she was a huge help in that way for me. Even though we met in the United States, lived there for, gosh, I don't know, 10, 12 years together before we moved here. Huge help. Her having somewhat, familiarity with the culture, custom, and languages. I could probably move off to a country now where I didn't speak anything at all, and with the experiences that I've had here, do better. But for a first time, I don't think I could have done it without that kind of assistance. Number two would be the climate for me was a complete change. I grew up in the eastern part of North Carolina at sea level. Spent since 2004 in Florida. So 2004 up until 2010, 6 years in Florida before we moved here. So anyway, sea level, hot, humid. Here it's hot year round. We don't really have a change of seasons per se so much. It's a semi-arid climate, I guess kind of what you would experience in New Mexico and Arizona up in the highlands. I think we're at about 3,000 feet. Don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. I go back and forth between this kilometers or meters and feet thing. Sometimes I do the conversions in my head and that number sticks. So I think we're at 3,000 feet, give or take. So 1,000 meters roughly. So the climate was completely different, quite a bit drier than I'm used to. However, over the years, it has become absolutely perfect for me. I mean, we have a handful of days that are hot. Hot like, high 90s and high humidity, kind of nasty, jungle hot. And we have a handful of days that, are cool. And when I say cool, I realize for a lot of you guys, this is going to be pleasant weather, but 55, 60 degrees is cool around here. Time to put on a shirt, maybe two shirts, maybe some socks. So anyway, couldn't ask for better. We only get about 50 centimeters of rain per year. That's kind of tough on plant life, but provides for a lot of sunny, beautiful days. Number three, the food. Not so much that Brazilian food is all that much different than being in the United States, because really it's not. But because of where we moved to a very rural area where they don't have the same selection that you would say in a city. And being in even a small city in Florida, you're accustomed to eating and doing certain things, especially in the culture of the United States where, two folks are working, 10 hours a day. If you have a home-cooked meal 3 or 4 nights a week, you're doing pretty good. Most of the time it's either some kind of takeout or you're eating lunch out or, just a different kind of food. Fortunately, my favorite food in the world is Mexican food, as we know it in the United States anyway. And the they're very similar here. A lot of beans, rice, different kinds of meats and whatnot. So even though the variety for where we landed out here in Bahia was a little bit different than I was used to, it's still very enjoyable. So number 4, getting to know the locals and interacting with the locals was a pretty big step for me. Though I had worked with a lot of folks from outside the country in the United States, even some that didn't speak English, and we had to communicate. I knew a little bit of Spanish, but not conversational. It was interesting. They were, the natives or the locals here were very supportive, very interested in somebody from the outside. So the reception was great. Very curious. Obviously, United States makes a lot of movies. We're on TV a lot, so the whole world seems to have a picture of the United States from movies, even though those of us that have lived there realize it's movies. But kind of neat either way to interact with people that truly believe that you came from a life as we see it in the movies. Over the years, they've gotten to realize that either I'm completely crazy and completely different than anybody they've ever seen in a movie, or maybe, I'm just normal and life isn't the way it is in the movies in the United States. But it's been real neat, or it was real neat, it still is, interacting, with those folks in the beginning. I had a teacher who actually taught English in school, even though she couldn't speak and understand it very well. She taught it. She understood the language fine. She just couldn't really have a conversation with it because, of the tonalities, and she doesn't speak it every day. So she probably has a better understanding of English than I do. But that was kind of neat. So number 5 would be the plant life here. Coming from Florida, basically everything would grow. We had plenty of water, great sunshine, great temperatures year-round. Actually had 2 growing seasons. So Maristela, coming from Salvador, which is climate's very similar to Florida, we kind of had a different idea, or we had an idea about what's going to grow here and what's going to do well. So we planted all kinds of citrus thingies and bamboo type stuff. And even though that stuff does grow here, the people are accustomed to dealing with it and working with it. We planted it, we irrigated it a little bit, and it was a colossal fail just because we were not prepared for 50 centimeters of rain per year. So we didn't irrigate enough. Of course, we also went through a 10-year drought at that same time, which kind of wiped out everything. So again, being in a semi-arid climate, plants are different here. They are much harder, much stronger. Everything's got a spine on it, or a needle. Some of it will burn the skin off your hand if you get the milk from the plants on you. But yeah, the vegetation, some of the grasses are similar, some of the trees are similar, but not much. I grew up in areas where it was pine trees, or in Florida, scrub brush and palm trees, I guess. Here, there's just such a variety of all kinds of stuff. I don't know if you can see, I'm kind of standing on the edge. I mean, behind me, there's probably 100 different species of things going on back here. But anyway, I just thought I'd take a moment and share some of those things with you. And we'll be putting those videos of this water tank up soon. We'll see you.